Hey, I'm right back with another video. It's 5:14 p.m. I'm bored as hell, and I'm sure everyone else is bored as hell. Or if you do have something to do, good for you. Okay, I would love to get out of the house and do something exciting, but I don't have the ability to do so. So I'm just sitting here making videos. So I wanted to make this video because I was thinking, the whole idea of pants versus dresses in the workplace for women. And I don't. For me, like when I encounter women, I see women walking in, or when in the past, if I interviewed somebody, I never like. What mattered to me is that they were presentable, like they were groomed. Like they didn't have stains on their shirt, or they didn't have. They didn't look disabled. They didn't. They looked. Organized, clean, presentable, professional. That's what mattered. I know in the past I've read, several guidelines on what's professional, what is to be worn, or what is typical in the workplace. Even talked about colors, like, most people don't wear red to job interviews. It depends on what industry you wear. Like I know when I was younger, I had a job interview at Target, when I was really young, and I ended up getting that job. But I was, working retail. You wear nice clothes, but you look more casual. Like if you were to work in a fast food place, you still want to look nice and presentable for the job interview. You want to be clean, okay, but you don't necessarily have to wear a dress and heels and all that other stuff. It depends on which industry you're going into. But like when I think of office jobs, I think of standard office attire. Which if you go to any Target, or you go to any women's department, women's department in any department store, which those are becoming very, very, very rare, mind you, because things are changing. But if you remember what they look like, if you can get into a Kohl's, I think Kohl's is closing or something, or maybe even who else would might have that? Walmart. Okay, Walmart doesn't really have a. They used to have a business section where they had clothes where they would sell to working women, but it's typical the same stuff. And most of the time, there's blouses, there's one-piece dresses, there's the skirts and the dresses are recommended for workplace to be below the knee. Preferably below the knee. I know that there's a lot of younger girls I've seen who wear, skirts that are a little bit higher than that. I don't judge them, only because I understand they're young. People change, standards change. I think the people in the younger generation, they look and they communicate with each other, and they don't really think anything of it because it's kind of the norm to them. Like, people who like 20 years older than me look at girls in what do you call it, mini skirts, and they tend to think, ooh, wow, but for a lot of people, that's just every day. You see this stuff every day, so it doesn't really faze you, and I've gone into certain businesses where I've seen girls wearing short skirts, not micro mini skirts, but some of these office clothes, to be honest, to be direct, okay, I've seen a lot of the office clothes, these professional clothes where the skirts are made pretty short, okay? I have seen this, okay? But I was thinking, if you were, for me, this is my personal opinion, only because if you're looking at the idea of like modesty, okay, I think depending on, because I know there's a lot of like Pentecostal women, they wear dresses all the way down to like their ankles, okay? So they cover themselves like 100%, right? But like when you talk about office attire, I personally think that pants would be more modest than skirts. If the reason why I say this is because skirts are exposing the woman's legs, okay? I don't think about it, okay? But if you're really thinking about this, like, even though, the skirt's like below the knee, right? It's below the knee, you're still showing your leg, right? I don't, that's not a big issue to me, but if you're going to compare the two, a pair of pants is going to cover you head to toe. Plus, if you're wearing like a top that's not low cut, you're going to be pretty well covered, okay? But that's the idea of pants versus skirts. Why I wear pants more than skirts or dresses has nothing to do with that. It's more a matter of comfort, comfort, what I'm used to. I guess I just grew up liking pants more than dresses.
But that's not saying that I don't have a problem wearing dresses. I have some, but I don't have really professional ones. Also, when it comes to women and grooming and what, I remember reading from professional pamphlets and magazines about, when you go into a job interview, I know I see a lot of women who have very long fingernails, okay? And this is common. Like, I go into places where, they're processing my insurance payment, or they're doing something. A lot of the girls at the office have, especially now, this craze with these long nails with the very sharp tips. I see this all the time. Now, I'm not sure if they actually went into the job interview like that, and perhaps maybe because there's a lot of younger people in these office roles, filling these positions, they're not really putting you at these sort of standards that a lot of women, had to deal with 20 something years ago. So maybe this is perfectly fine. I don't know. But, based on what I've read from professional sources, fingernails should not be anywhere longer than the tip. If you are going to wear nail polish, it should be like a clear color. But see, it's your choice, okay? And it depends on the employer and depends on whatever. But these are the guidelines that I read, and it makes sense to me, okay? When it comes to your hairstyle, you want to have a professional style. Most of the time when you go in for job interviews, your hair should be groomed. Oftentimes they suggest that you wear your hair up, up and away from your face. Like, sometimes my bangs hang over like this. If you can sweep them over to the side, that's better, but you want to make sure that your face is clear of any hair, stuff like that. So I consider myself to be professional in my appearance when I go into a job interview. Now, some people, I know they talk about makeup, women wearing makeup. When they talk about business makeup, they usually recommend day. There's a difference between day makeup and night makeup. Night makeup is where, women wear, like the fake eyelashes and the eyeliner, and they wear like, these hues where they're going to be hitting the town. That's one look, okay? But when it comes to the office, they generally, recommend for women to just reduce it down to things that are going to, like, maybe if you have a blemish or something, you want to go ahead and make sure that's, if you have like a zit or something, you want to patch that up. You want to make sure that that's presentable, but you don't want to wear excessive makeup at job interviews, okay? So I understand these guidelines. I fully understand them, all right? So I just think, there's just this cutty stuff that goes on in the workplace, but I do understand these guidelines, but I do see several examples of women who are who wear short skirts, women who have very, very long fingernails, women who wear nighttime makeup at the workplace, and so on and so forth. And like I said, I'm not judging them, okay, because what goes on in their place of employment, maybe their managers don't care. Certain things are far more common than they used to be, and people don't really think of it that deeply or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I think my family, my ex-family, has always been the kind of people that we lived in a very closed universe. Like I had my mother was kind of reclusive, and she was the kind of person, she wears things like house dresses and stuff like that, those little things that Carol Burnett would wear, like and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But some people, they just, this is what they do, and they think, because she's used to doing that, and she's been doing that since she had all these kids. And then, she sees someone like myself who, I'm not wearing house, although I do like house dresses, okay? They are comfortable. They're very comfortable. But, they think because you do these things that there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. I understand certain guidelines, and I understand that, what you're supposed to look like in the office. I do know that, when you're dealing with a lot of white people kind of pick apart people of color a lot of times because they don't understand. I know that there's been issues with black hair. That's always been an issue. I know I've worn braids before, and that sort of thing, and I've always had issues with my hair. But as long as it's presentable, and I think my hairstyles are presentable for the workplace. In the past I have worn my hair up in ponytails, and then during this fall and winter season, if it's cooler outside, that I usually have the hair down the hair down, like most people. Like you see women working in the office, if it's a hot day that day, they're going to wear their hair up. You know, if it's winter, you know, they wear their hair down, or they wear it up in a bun or whatever, but they do have a certain sense of flexibility. So I myself am kind of doing the same thing, like most people. Okay. So I get the whole picking me apart thing. But, you know, when it comes to pants versus dresses, when it comes to pants versus dresses, I can't even believe I'm having this conversation or even talking about it because it's so stupid. But when it comes to pants versus dresses, some people, like maybe older generation, some men don't like seeing women in pants. That was the generation that my father belonged to. Like, they looked at it like, are you trying to exert your masculinity? You know, you're feminine, and women wear dresses. That's what it was, you know, in their day. But women nowadays do wear pants, you know, and believe me, you know, me wearing pants is not an act of defiance. I'm not flipping the bird to the men. I'm basically saying this is more comfortable for me. You know, I don't really like exposing my legs that much. I really don't. You know, I wear like shorts and dresses and stuff during the hot summer because it's hot outside, okay? But is it my first go-to garment? I'm going to say no. It's not, okay? It's not. But because pants do cover the body more so than dresses do, you know, even a dress that's considered to be modest, that goes under your knee, covers your knee, we'd still showing leg, you know what I mean? You're still showing those legs. But still, between the two, I would think that pants would be more modest. Now, I would like to know your opinion on this. I would please leave comments about this. I mean, it's not an issue, it's not a debate, but I just want to see how you see how most people see it, like, you know, pants versus dresses in the workplace. What is your opinion on that? I just think, you know, it's a frivolous thing to bring up, you know, really. And, you know, I've seen some really nice office dresses. I remember many years ago when I first moved here to this town, I was lucky enough to find a nice little matching outfit that was blue, and it had like a little top to it, and a shell and a top, and it was actually one piece, but it looked like it was 3 separate pieces that I would wear for job interviews. And then of course I'd wear it, you know, at work to work and stuff like that too. But people really liked that outfit. You know, they liked it. I would get a lot of compliments on the outfit, you know. And it was a dress, but it was like one of those cheapy things. I think I picked it up at Kmart or something, okay, which Kmart usually has really crappy clothes. But it was a nice, presentable outfit, and I did wear it, you know, but my heart is just in pants, you know. But I do, you know, I do wear dresses sometimes, you know. When it comes to jewelry, I know that I've read that, you know, most people, they don't want you to wear earrings. If you do wear earrings, they should be like stud size, about this big. What do you call it? It's like this big, small earrings. If you do, preferably, if you're in doubt, go without. Don't wear any at all. But one thing that people do accept you to wear is like a wedding band. Okay. So I know my guidelines. I understand, and I stay within those guidelines. You know. So when you hear of other people when they have their personal preferences, sometimes they want to be vocal about it. But if you have preferences, then that's what you should do. You know what I mean? And then you make sure that you wear dresses. You wear dresses. You wear pantyhose if that's what your thing is. I remember wearing a dress, working, and I was required to wear pantyhose all the time. And I'm the kind of person, I would look at some of these women, and these women, I was always envious of the women who could get more than one use out of a pantyhose. I could never do that, because I will snag pantyhose like you will not believe. And most of the time I would snag them before they actually got on my leg, because I've always had like jaggedy nails, or it wasn't really coordinated or whatever. So the whole idea of dresses in the workplace for me is not really appealing, okay? It's not really appealing, but I will wear them, you know what I mean, as an alternative, especially during the hot season or whatever. So, and I didn't mean to make a debate out of it, you know. I'm not interested in debating. I'm just basically saying. But since, you know, we're on the subject and I'm making this video, I would love to hear your comments. What do you think about what is more, and when you think of modesty, okay, when you think of modesty out of an outfit, Okay, when you think of modesty as an outfit, like for example, this right here, this is a tank top. Okay, obviously you wouldn't wear this to a job interview, okay? But let's just say, for example, you were dirt poor, you didn't have any money, okay? And so you really need to throw together an outfit to wear for a job interview. But you did have this tank top. I would probably tie this tank top back, and if I had a jacket, I would throw a jacket on top of it if I was desperate, okay? But obviously tank tops are not something that you should wear to a job interview. But, your clothes should be, well clean. They should be presentable. They should be modest, in styled in a way where you're not showing cleavage, you're not exposing your body parts. Sometimes I've seen women who wear shirts and they lift out their hands up and their belly shows. I don't think anything of it either, but I'm just saying is you don't really want to give people anything to see, to sit there and talk about, that's what I'm saying. But I would like to know what your opinions are on that, because I think it's terrible that we have to, as women, have to sit here and think about it that deeply, because I think it's a really stupid thing, really. But we're on the subject, and so like when I'm thinking about what covers a woman's body more than anything, I would think pants do. So let me know what your comments are, and I will be back with another video some other time later. Take care. Bye-bye.